Square one, we meet again. The art of trying. I'm no gamer, but as a kid, I played enough Mario to know when I lost, I had to start over. But I did so knowing what took me down before. So even though I had to start at the beginning again, I knew more and could get farther with each attempt. This was actually a pretty great life lesson. Thanks, Mario. Be willing to try. Willingness to try is the only way you will get anywhere. So many don't try. They may be scared and unsure or create excuses to avoid the whole issue. Does this sound familiar? It should. We're all guilty of this. It can be challenging to try something new or to start over. But why not try? It often feels like we're back at square one. But like Mario, if you did anything at all, you learned something. So you're restarting with more knowledge and experience. Give yourself the credit you deserve for the attempt. Consider your accomplishments. Think about all the things you've done successfully. Were they easy? Done on the first attempt? Did they take time? Hard work? We tend to forget the process once we've hit a goal. I want you to really acknowledge the effort you made to achieve your accomplishments. Consider your failures. Why do you consider them failures? Was the outcome something you could control? You may have actually achieved your goal, but the final results were outside your control. What did you learn in the attempt? Can you see value in your experience? Where have you applied that knowledge in your life since? Did you fail or just stop trying? Sometimes a perceived failure is simply a way of learning what's not for us. We realize the goal is no longer as important. You're allowed to change your mind. So was it a failure or just a learning experience? Be willing to fail. Why do we consider failure bad? I have learned more from my failures than my successes. I'm not saying failure is great. I'm just saying it's part of the process. Failure gives us new knowledge and growth. Recognize what's within your control. For example, you can train to run a race and work at beating your own time. You can't control how fast the other runners are. So if you lose the race, I challenge you to review your individual accomplishments. The adage, comparison is the thief of joy, attributed to Theodore Roosevelt, holds absolute truth. We can only truly control our actions and reactions. There is power in your response. Wield that power intentionally. Who said it was supposed to be easy? Message from modern society is everything should be fast and easy. And if it's not, you're doing it wrong. Now, let's look at that statement in black and white. Does it actually still feel true? It shouldn't. Not everything is easy, and I don't think it should be. And don't get me started on how everything is supposed to be fast. I just don't know about you, but I'm proudest of my most challenging accomplishments. The only real failure is not to try. What if we consider the idea of failure as an observation on whether something worked or not? Take away the negative connotation, remove its association with defeat or inadequacy, and begin to view it as a step in the creative process. I think so many creatives are afraid to experiment as they see the individual experimentations as tied to their identity as an artist. So if they fail at the experiment, are they really an artist? The answer is yes. And experimentation is critical component of creative growth. Understand it's a process. This can be as specific as the scientific method or as simplistic as play. Using the scientific method is actually very natural for creative minds. While the words may feel intimidating, the process is instinctual. Like many scientists, creatives spend most of their time experimenting. But the rest of the process is also important as it creates a goal and then allows us to identify what we learn. And isn't that what we're talking about anyway? So let's look at an artistic example using the scientific method. Observation. I love landscape. Question. Could I paint one? Hypothesis. With the right tools, resources, and practice, I could probably paint a landscape. Experiment. Research, learn, paint, experiment. Analysis. Review the finished work. Conclusion. Yes, I can absolutely paint a landscape. So this experimentation can also be seen as play. Play allows us to experiment without pressure. We can focus solely on the joy of the activity, and we remain open to solutions and new possibilities. When the idea of failure is removed, the attention is completely on the action itself. Because play is not about reaching a specific goal, sometimes it allows for that very thing. And even if no notable results occur, we've still had the experience of play, which is valuable in itself. In essence, these two approaches embody the creative process. More on that another time. Be willing to try again. Trying again is the next step. At first, it may feel like you're at square one again, but I promise you, you're not. You've already made progress. You have a clearer vision of the goal, more understanding of what it will take to get there by applying your new insight. Learning to walk. Watching a small child learning to walk is honestly really inspirational. They get up, fall down over and over and over and over. They keep trying until they eventually succeed. Now, they do have a couple of advantages. First, they're really close to the ground, so falling's not all that bad. Second, they know walking is possible. They see us doing it, so they just keep going. Taking that next step shows courage. When we're exploring something new, we don't always know it's possible, but we can still approach it the same way, with persistence and courage. If we really believe in what we're working towards, then the only way is forward. Think about all the things that we wouldn't have today if their creators just quit. So, how dedicated are you to your goal? Is it something you actually want or something you think you should do? If it's a should, I want you to reevaluate your motivations, get real and authentic. If it's something you really want, then the process should be as rewarding as the goal. Playing Mario, I get frustrated when I found myself at the beginning again. But once I started playing again, I was just into the game. And know when it's time to ask for help. Sometimes we all need a little help or direction. We can get lost in the process and would benefit from another creative mind that can be more objective and help you along your journey. In my coaching program, Make Art, I can help you wherever you are. We will work together to give you clarity on where you want to go and develop a way through. You will still be doing the work, but you'll have that advantage of knowing you can get there and have support along the way. So in closing, when it feels like you're back at square one again, know that you're not really starting over. You have the advantage of knowledge and experience. And I want you to be willing to try, be willing to fail, understand it's a process, and be willing to try again, and then know when to ask for help. Remember, I'd love to assist you on your creative journey. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe to my podcast, YouTube channel, or newsletter. Thanks for joining me. Until next time.